You're listening to The Gal Code, hosted by me, BB Bagnall.
And me, Rob Gartland. Thanks for joining us this week to discuss hot topics, our pit and the peak of the week,
and our Gal Code, the rules to live by.
Let's get started.
So we're on episode 4. A fun fact, episode 4 is my angel number. Do you know what angel numbers are?
No.
So you work it out. Okay, so what's your birthday? So you are the 20th
20th of June.
06, 1996. So you add up all of those, like, individually. So 2
20.
plus 6 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 6.
15, 24, 25, 33.
Okay, so then you would do 3 plus 3. So you want to get it down to a single digit. So that's 6. So your angel number is 6.
Okay.
And it
what does
basically, when you see it, it's like a sign from the angels that they're looking over you. So once you like start to notice it, you'll see it's like all around you. It could be like you always get passed by a bus with the number 6 on it.
So you see it everywhere.
So episode 4, the angels are looking over us on this episode, Rob.
Feel watched, loved, appreciated, and just in a great space.
Oh my God, can we discuss Taylor Swift's album, please?
I'm obsessed.
I am that classic person who's like, oh, I don't really like Taylor Swift. I'm loving this album. I've listened to it every day.
Yeah, it's the peak level of depressing that I appreciate in my life.
It's just perfect sad music.
What's your favourite song?
Okay, so I love the first one, The One. Although I think if that came out when I was in a breakup, I actually probably would have had a bit of a breakdown. So I'm glad that's came out when I'm not going through a breakup.
Okay.
And then I love Exile with Bon Iver.
That's my favourite. Exile.
So good. I think that's the most depressing one, I think.
Do
you know who else has come out with music that I'm really enjoying?
Who?
The new Little Mix song.
Yes. I thought you were going to say it, but I was worried you were going to say someone Indian edgy and I wasn't going to know who they were. But Holiday is a bop.
I've had that. That's not even how it goes. I don't know what I'm bopping along to.
What else in the world can never get close to you, baby?
Oh my God. It's just, I love Little Mix.
I
so
love
much.
Little Mix because I even loved Breakup Song.
Another breakup song. All the nights they screwed us over.
Oh, so good.
I want to see them on tour again because when I saw them on tour, it's fantastic.
Me too, but my fear is that I would be the oldest person in the room. And when I went to see Fifth Harmony, me and my friend Lizzie, we drank, I think, about 5 bottles of wine, and we were the oldest people there by a mile. And it was honestly quite, like, to look back at the videos from that, it's quite mortifying. Like, we were offering, like, the people next to us, like, these little girls, do you want some wine? Because we were so drunk. We were like the only people in the bar at the O2 Arena. I mean, it was dead. There was like no thing. I don't remember listening to them sing because I remember singing so loudly. I was like a member of Fifth Harmony.
Oh my God.
So with Little Mix, I'd be fearful that the oldest people in the room without their parents, do you know what I mean?
I did actually see them in October 2019, and it was a little bit like that, not gonna lie. But speaking of your drunken stories, do you want to get into my pit of the week?
Yeah, let's get into pit and peak of the week.
Okay, I drank a bottle of gin and then spent £15 on a Subway Deliveroo just to fall asleep in it, and also nearly gave myself concussion again.
Right, I need to break down the elements, so...
I don't know where to start. So this was my Saturday night. We spent all day in the hairdressers, and then Alex messages me and she's like, do you fancy a G&T after the hairdressers? And I was like, oh my God, we're not talking about the hair. I just, might have to send my hairdresser an awkward message saying I don't like it and we need to rectify it. So let's just move on. Okay, so I messaged Al and I'm like, I was about to message you the same thing. Like, absolutely. I was like, should we go out in Clapham or should we just go to mine? And the weather was like pissing it down with rain. So I was like, just come round to mine. And I'm like, oh, I've got gin. And I was like, that's fine. I'll bring some anyway. So we sit down and I'm like, should we just put a bit of TV on in the background? Like, I was like, I'll put a bit of Gossip Girl on, something that we can watch but don't have to watch.
Easy
just
watching.
Gossip. Exactly. So it's civilized G&T. And then, to be honest, right, I don't actually know where it just went wrong, but we had that new Gordon's lemon Sicilian, I keep calling it silicon lemon because I'm dyslexic and can't pronounce it, but it's Sicilian lemon. And we're drinking it just like juice.
But after the first one that happened?
Oh my God, I've just remembered something that actually happened.
Oh no, what?
No. So on last episode, I was talking about the dick pic?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was texting that person and I just remembered he just replied with a really saucy message back. And I didn't know what to say because I'm shit at flirting. So I was getting Al to construct my replies for me.
That's friendship. That should be your gal code message for the week.
That is a good one. Because I'm so shit at flirting. So I was like, she's so witty. And I was like, oh my God, what should I reply? So it was a team effort having this conversation.
So hang on. Was it a dick pic?
Oh, no, it was like oh my God, it was actually such a fit picture. It was like a mirror selfie, but topless, and the abs are starting to come back through. Honestly, it was just sensational.
Do you like an ab?
To be fair, I'm not that fussy about a body, if I'm honest. It's just like a nice added bonus. Where was I up to in my story? Oh, so the housemates then end up coming into the front room. And by this point, I remember going to sit on the floor to make room on the sofa. And I was like, fucking hell, I am hammered. And then I look and I'm like, oh my God, we have got hardly any gin left. We have gone through the whole bottle of gin between us. I've never done that before. Yeah, never done that.
Oh.
Even when I've gone out, gone to festivals, I've never had that much to drink. And then I remember Al leaving, and then basically I ordered a Subway at 3 a.m.
Interesting choice for you.
But can I just read off my Subway order?
Yeah, please. Did you get a cookie?
No.
Rookie error.
I must have ate the Subway in bed. Anyway, I woke up in the Subway. I must have fallen asleep in the Subway.
It's so messy.
The next morning, when I was looking at my bed sheets and I was like, did I even get into bed? Because my sheets are so intact. So I think I just lay there and just kind of fell asleep. Literally in the Subway.
Imagine someone taking a snapshot of you just lying on your bed next to a sort of cold ass stale Subway. Probably fully dressed. Probably drooled.
I was fully dressed because I was in my loungewear, my tracksuit and sweat top. Okay, right. My Deliveroo app. 1 foot long sub. So I went for the big one, which is why I must have only had half of it, the normal 6 inch, which is why there was 6 inch left the next day.
People don't like, BLT. 6 inches is enough.
BLT. So not a vegetarian choice. But then don't worry, because I got Italian, in brackets, vegan bread and vegan garlic aioli. So my heart was in the right place. And then I got in there lettuce, tomato, cucumber, pickles, onions, olives, and a side of nachos with jalapenos, which explains why my fucking ass was on fire the next day. So
I'm sorry, but that nachos with jalapenos mixed with a bottle of gin is never going to be a fun toilet trip, especially if you're boarding a train, my love.
Luckily, the train was later in the day. And then the last part of that, I nearly gave myself concussion again. On my Instagram story, my close friends, I feel so bad for anyone who's on my close friend story. I had a bag of ice on my head wrapped in a tea towel. Alex said I looked like a shepherd from a school play because I was laughing so much I swung my head back and smacked it off the radiator.
No.
Yeah, so don't have an egghead. So yeah, that was my pit of the week. I know that was quite long-winded, but basically, just what the fuck was I doing on Saturday night?
I don't think that's a pit. I think that's fantastic.
Do you know what it was? We all sat in the garden so Sam could open her birthday cards, and I just had a can of Coke, and I just was sat there, and Craig and Sam, my housemates, by the way, and Craig just turned to me and went, God, B, you look like shit.
And you go, thanks.
I went, go for yourself. I feel rotten. So my peak of the week is that I was reunited. Well, I wasn't reunited. I was united. I finally met my new Celine bag. So I got in from my hungover train journey and was like, oh my God, yes, I've got my Celine bag upstairs. And then basically there was like 2 other parcels on my bed, and I was like, oh, I haven't ordered anything. So what are these? One, it was from Astrid and Miu, which are like a jewelry company that I did some work with on Instagram. And basically I accidentally snapped one of the earrings, and I was like, oh, by the way, like when in email conversation, I was like, this is snap. I wanted you to know, so in case it's like an actual manufacturing fault or whatever. They were like, no worries, we'll send you a replacement. So when I saw the parcel, I was like, oh, fine, it's just going to be like my replacement earrings. And on the tag, I had like July gifting, BB Bagnall. And I was like, no, surely not. They work with like big influencers, not me. And then the other parcel was, because on Instagram, I was talking about how I wanted to decorate my room and how I wanted these shelves put in. And I put an inspiration pic of these shelves. And this cosmetic, like this kind of beauty cosmetic brand has just released a new candle. They're like bougie candles, like 60 quid. And they'd sent me a candle for my shelf. And I was like, I don't know, I just got really emotional because I was like, okay, so it's 3 years. It was bang on that day, 3 years since I graduated uni. I worked like my ass off. I started my blog as like a hobby, and then that turned into blog and Instagram, and then now I'm actually getting sent things, and I just got emotional, a bit teary. I'd obviously reached the emotional stage of my hangover, but I just had a moment of reflection where I was like, go on, baby, like you've done quite well for yourself
As
here.
you should. That's so good. Pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, so that was my peak of the week. Right, tell me yours.
So my peak of the week is very wholesome and lovely. Shouting out my sister Rachel, so one of my triplets. She's officially back from China. So she lived in China for, I'm going to say 9 months to teach English. And then obviously
I always forgot that Rachel was in China. I don't know why I always forgot.
And that we had to Photoshop her into the Christmas family picture.
Yeah, but that was such a good Photoshop. I think that's why I didn't realise that she was in China, because you absolutely nailed that.
Yeah. But she's in China and she's come back, and it's nice that all the fam is in the same country, reunited almost, and back together. That makes me happy.
Oh, I can't wait for you guys to all reunite.
I know, I can't wait. I don't know when it's going to be though. Hopefully soon. Anyway, my pit of the week is, there's positives to it, but okay, so the gyms are back open. I'm in my new sort of reborn phase. Number one, Cardi Ho is back in business. He's ready to go. He's ready to go. And I'm loving it. I'm back to my routine. However, it's not very busy. And this is a great thing for me, but it's giving the Gym Bunny license to perform for their cameras everywhere because there's so much space.
Oh, what, people are just recording themselves?
Yeah. No, but they're not recording themselves. They're socially distanced recording one another.
Oh.
Every gym session I've been to, I have been a background extra in a movie I did not sign up to. And then, do you know what they're filming on, BB? A digital camera.
Really?
What is a digital camera doing in 2020? Like, what?
Like a Canon, like, vlog style camera?
No, like a digital camera, like with the zooms, and so it was
fine pics.
It literally was a situation. But I am sick to death, and I stand on my elliptical. Like you can imagine me, just like, let's get physical, just sort of bouncing back and forth.
Side to side.
I do my like 90 minutes, and they are walking past me, and I'm daring them down, and they can tell. And then it turns out he's a trainer.
Oh, stop.
Because at the gym, this gym especially, I love the gym, but the trainers there are screaming at their clients, like, one more! Like, do you mind? I'm literally trying to watch Alexandra Beck and Beyonce duet to listen. I have a tear rolling down my face, and you're screaming at your client.
I remember I was on the tube once, and someone took a photo of me. And I was like, do you just take a photo of me? Oh. She was like, oh, I took a photo of your bag, and I'd been to Glossier. And it was when it had just opened in Covent Garden, and I was like, oh, right. She was like, where's the shop? And I was like, oh, it's in Covent Garden. And then the whole rest of the tube journey was so awkward.
If she was lying, she paid that very well.
Yeah, she did. But I think she did turn her phone around and be like, oh, it was the bag.
I'm going to go back to the gym tomorrow, Face of Thunder, temperature check me, swipe me in, and it's no holds barred.
Absolutely.
Should we move along into today's little topic? Today we're talking about the moments in life that got us to where we are today.
Our life lessons.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Like what you hear, or just like us and want to be supportive, head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us a 5-star review, and hit that subscribe button. It so matters in helping us get this thing off the ground. So go and do it. So we've both picked 3 moments or things that have happened or mottos, something like that, that have shaped us to be where we are today. Do you want to go first?
I was going to say, do you want to go first?
I can go first.
You go first.
So the first thing in my life that I think has really shaped who I am today is the fact that I grew up surrounded solely by women and by strong women.
Oh, yeah.
So I grew up, my dad passed away when I was very, very young. And I watched my mother be a single parent, go through obviously the mourning, but bring up me, obviously I'm a triplet, and my older sister. And then I've just think it's really shaped who I am today, especially having my siblings with me at school. Because Catherine, that bitch can fight.
My God, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I was slightly scared of Catherine. And like, she's like the nicest, coolest person. Actually, do you know what? I was actually a bit more scared of you because you were so bitchy.
Oh, thank you so much.
No, do you know what? Remember in year 9 when we had drama? I remember I picked drama as like my extra lesson, and I had done drama throughout my whole life, but not like stage schooly. And I remember you were like so stage schooly, and I was just so intimidated by you.
Oh my God, was it like entering like Britannia High?
Oh my God. And I just, and then you were in a couple of my lessons. I remember in science, you used to scare me a bit.
Really? God.
Yeah, I just felt like sometimes you'd be really nice, and sometimes you were a bit like, who the fuck are you? Sorry, this has got confession time. So yeah, no, you were the bitchy one, but Catherine, I feel like she could throw a punch.
That's the thing. If I think about my family dynamic, we've all had different relationships at different times. But what's great is I have had such an amazing relationships as a human being with women. I've always been surrounded by women, always had that as my example. And I think that really did shape my life and how I see the world. One thing I would say that negatively affected my life by growing up in the same year group as my siblings is you have to really teach yourself not to compare yourself all the time. Because when they'd come home, there's 3 sets of results, 3 sets of driving lessons, 3 sets of milestones, and someone always did the best, someone did the middle, and someone always did the worst. So you end up living your life trying to compete. I want to compete, I want to do the best, and when you don't, you feel like you're failing. Even if it weren't, and you were the only child, then you wouldn't have that blatant comparison. Like when our reports all sat next to one another, it said, Rob is distracting others. Rob is distracting others. Rob is distracting others. It was like, yeah, we can get it. And then it was like, Rachel, A's, amazing. Da, da, da. So that was the one thing I think about it that I've had to really teach myself as an adult and still have to do, not to compare myself to other people's achievements.
That's so interesting because I would never, ever, ever think of that. And obviously I'm the eldest out of me and my brother. But sometimes I do worry that there was a time, especially when it was like school result, that my brother was getting compared to me a lot. Do you think they would think that?
And they better think that. It better not just be me thinking that. I think so. I think they would. I think we all had very similar childhoods in that respect. And also, especially being the triplets, it was Helen and the triplets. Helen's my older sister. Oh, the triplets. And when you're grouped together, you want to fight against it.
Yeah, that's so true. God, imagine if you were 3 girls. At least like being like 2 girls and a boy kind of separates that.
Besides, I think it was a bit harder because it's harder to relate. And especially 3 sisters and a mum. And I would never knock my childhood at all because I had a fabulous childhood. But being brought around strong women is incredible. But there is that calling of, where do I turn to? Like, I remember when my mum had to ask a family friend of what Lynx or like what deodorant I should buy because we just didn't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, that's funny because I'm like the opposite. I am like the only girl in a male household. And there was times where I used to find it really frustrating. Like, for example, we would go to the cinema. We couldn't go see a chick flick. It would always be like Star Wars or something, or like Batman, like something like not girly. Do you know what used to really, really, really wind me up? Toilet seat would always be left up.
But this is one thing I don't really understand about men is, I'm sorry, but if you have the choice of sitting down or standing up, who is choosing to stand up? I'm sorry, I
Really?
sit down.
Oh, interesting.
I'm
Maybe that's
lazy
because
as
you've been brought up
shit.
in a female household.
Maybe. I'm so lazy. I'm like, why am I going to stand here? I could sit down and relax, watch some like videos and chill.
Watch some TikToks whilst you have a wee. That's what I'm really
Exactly.
bad for
But
doing.
about the cinema, one of my favorite memories of the childhood was when my mum discharged me from hospital to see The Princess Diaries 2. It's an iconic parenting decision. Good on her. What is your first one? What would you say is your first?
Do you know what? What you just said made me think of one that isn't actually, I didn't write down, but is literally the biggest thing that shaped me. So, I'm trying not to be this all like doom and gloom, but when my mum died, that literally, if she was still alive, I wouldn't have the same work ethic that I have now. I don't know how to say this without going into like so much detail, but
No,
like
just go for it.
just go for it. So my mum was the main breadwinner of the family. So my dad didn't really work. He did music stuff on the side, but mum's income was it. And then she got ill, and then dad had to get a job and whatnot. And there was a time where we were like, I think living off like disability benefit because of mum. And my friends at school, they would like go to Topshop, get new clothes all the time. I didn't get pocket money. If I like did chores around the house, I would get £5. Or like I was quite close to my grandma at the time because I think the stress of everything just was too much for, I mean, it would be so stressful for my dad, but there was like a period of years when me and my dad didn't really like get on that well. And I just kind of was like, as soon as I can get a job, I'm getting a job because I feel like I'm missing out on all of these like nice things for myself. So as soon as I turned 16, I think I was 16 for like a week, and I got my first job at Marks and Spencer's, my little Saturday, my weekend job. And then ever since then, I've worked, and I think that's why I kind of like, when I don't do well, I'll buy like a designer handbag, because when I was younger, like I could never go out and buy myself nice things. That I would say has been the biggest thing that shaped me, because if it's hard to like think like this, but like if my mum was still here, then would I have worked that hard?
Would
Probably
you have had
not.
to?
Would I have had to? That's the thing. So I don't know what people can take away from that, but
It just teaches you in life, doesn't it? I think the way you're brought up really molds the person that you become. And work
yeah,
ethic, if everything's handed to you, you don't ever appreciate anything.
no, because well, it's just like someone handing over a pack of biscuits to you. You just take it for granted, really.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Very
going through
interesting.
some horrendous trauma in my teenage years led me to be boss ass bitch I am today, and will continue to be.
And look where you are. You should be so bloody proud of yourself.
So I've done a lot of reflecting this week, and do you know what I've realized? I actually struggle to be like content. I mean, I'm at a point now where like I'm really happy with my job, I'm really happy with the salary, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not the 100k salary that you want to be on in your life. I was actually thinking, I was like, I will never be content until I am on at least 100k, and I don't know why I'm so determined for that.
Do you know what though? That the content line kind of could move into my second one.
Yeah. Oh my god, the segue is here.
The segue. So striving to be content. So let me just do some backstory. I don't want to roll into this subject too much because we might touch upon it in a podcast coming.
Yeah.
When I was younger, really struggled with self-confidence and played that off with a kind of alter ego character. I'd kind of describe it like Gemma Collins GC.
Oh.
So in school, I always performed. I was a naughty student. But as I grew up, I struggled with confidence, which led to me moving happiness to food. And I ate and ate and ate and ate and ate. And I was 22 and a half stone. And
oh god.
yeah, I've never told you that's how much I weighed.
No, I just didn't know the actual figure.
Yeah, 22 and a half stone. Obviously, situations happened, ended up losing weight and working really hard. It was not an easy process to lose 10 stone and get it all off. But I've found since that point, the struggle to be content with weight when you feel like you're never hitting the peak because the fantasy you created in your head of what is the dream is so unachievable. And every day I do have to work really hard to be content within not hitting a dream goal. Does
Oh
that
my
make
God,
sense?
yeah, that makes so much sense.
Because my weight loss journey wasn't easy and hasn't been easy. Like, I think everyone's isn't easy, especially when you're losing such a considerable amount of weight. I felt like I was shredding a skin and I felt very lost. I didn't know, because I'd been this character, I lost a load of weight and I got to the end of it, and because I lost it very, very, very quickly,
It was so quick.
you get to the end of that and you're working towards a goal. I describe it as when you're not in a race, you don't care for the end results. When you start running the marathon, you want to reach the end. But that goalpost keeps moving and moving and moving and moving because you can never be satisfied. And it's literally about giving up the dream and trying just to remain content.
Maybe I need to do this about my 100K salary, but I'm so fixated on that number.
It's a goal. But I think you also have to be able to get to a certain point and kind of just grieve the fantasy and try and accept reality.
Because it could be, I could have a job, which maybe in another company could equal to 100K salary. And it's maybe like not as well paid, but it's an amazing company, an amazing opportunity. Then I would be more content.
But I think it's more as well, you could hit 100K. Is that going to be enough? Or will you hit that point and then go, I want 200K?
Oh, God, don't.
Because if I looked at myself in the mirror right now, 3 years ago, and could see a flashback, I'd be like, no, you didn't do that. You didn't get to that. But if I looked at myself in the mirror today, I'd go, what the hell? How are you this weight? You need to lose weight, da, 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 da. And it's the long-term goals, when they become short-term or when you get to them, is it ever enough?
Are we ever really content?
No, and that can be with life, body, relationships. Because we live in such a fast-paced world, I do think we are always looking over our shoulders for the next goal, the next achievement, the next thing to have, the next... Oh my God, I'm going on such a ramble.
No, this is really interesting because this is what I enjoyed about lockdown is we just had to deal with what we had, and that made us content because the race stopped.
A lot of the times as well, I think when people sit and just take in what they have, they feel very self-indulgent. And people want to strive for something and want to get something. And we live in a world where you watch millionaires achieve X, Y, and Z, and you think that should be the goal, or fame, or a family, or marriage, or like, what's the first thing you get asked? I mean, we're both single. It's, hey, how are you? You seeing anyone? No, I'm not.
Question.
Yeah, but there's always something we're told we should be achieving, we should be grabbing, we should be going for the next job promotion, the next opportunity, the next purchase, the next weight loss, weight gain, and it's all this world we live in, and we really all just need to try and be content. Sorry, that was a ramble from me. What's your next one?
Mine was, I actually kind of like touched on this in a blog post I did, which was to stop caring about what people think of you.
Yeah.
I honestly wish if I could go back to my like 14-year-old self and just be like, BB, just stop caring. Just do you. I just spent so much of my time in high school like feeling like I had to fit in with the girls there, and like I didn't really fit in and whatnot. And our high school was quite bitchy and cliquey, really. And if you didn't like fit into a clique, I don't know, I just always felt like I was a little bit like odd one out. And I cared so much about what these girls thought of me. I'm hardly even friends with the majority of the girls now.
Life happens.
Life happens and fell out of touch. I'm thinking, why did I literally worry so much and dedicate so much energy to think about what you thought of me when it's not even 10 years later and you're not even in my life anymore? And I think as well, like, if someone doesn't like you, they've already made up their mind that they don't like you. So why are you going to waste your time trying to change their opinion?
And sometimes people just can't be changed. If someone has a perception of you, I'm struggling with this right now. A girl I know just blocked me on social media. I'm like, what? But I think we also all taught that when someone else has a problem, we always insulate it. So we always go, what have I done wrong? Why am I like this? It's like if someone breaks up with you, people don't go, well, they're a prick. They go, why wasn't I good enough?
Yeah.
And we always turn everything to us when really it's what you're saying, people might just not like you. They've made their decision.
Hard pill to swallow.
Oh, yeah.
Not everything is about you.
Not everything is about me. Get it on an Instagram tile, gal. Get it on.
That might be my room from the girl code, actually.
A little preview.
Because I remember I was in a job and it was such like an anxious environment. I'd not experienced anxiety until I started working for this company. And I remember every time my manager would go for like a chat with like my senior manager, I'd be like, oh my God, what have I done wrong? Then I was like, I used to work myself up into such anxieties. And I was like, not everything is about me. And as soon as I adapted that mindset, the anxiety started to go a little bit because I was like, it's not about me. Like, no offense, but who do you think you are?
Because we can all create a narrative in our heads. It's like when someone
Yeah.
doesn't text you back, or you've waited, like, you know, when you obviously text someone, you wait like 4 hours for a reply, and you're literally like creating all these narratives. Oh my God, are they being short? Oh my God, what have I done? Da, 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 da. You can create this narrative, which literally just stems from your own insecurity and paranoia.
Oh my God, and I am so bad for doing that. Like,
Do
so
you?
bad. Yeah, like
Oh,
I remember like I was texting this boy and he just like was taking so long to reply. It took like a day. And I was like, oh my God, like he's clearly with a girl. Like he's on a date. Like he's on a date with someone else. And then his Instagram story was like him and his mates like on a bike ride. And I was like, oh,
that's where I get pissed off though.
yeah.
If you can go on a different platform, you can reply to my message.
Oh, no, the message was on Instagram.
Okay.
And also, I feel so bad because I'm so terrible for this. I'm just shit at replying to people. I'm just so shit. I read it and then I'm like, okay, right, hold on. Like, I'll deal with that in a second. And then I just forget.
What would you say is an adequate time to get a response to? If you're dating, like starting the talk with someone, let's say that sort of method, how long do you think is fine?
Like 20 minutes.
You give them 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Wait, if they message me and then I
Oh,
message them back.
I give them 4 hours.
Well, to be honest, that's a bad question to ask me. I'm not invested that
Okay.
much in dating. Honestly, I match with guys on
20
Hinge.
minutes?
I match with guys on Hinge, and then they message me, and I don't message back until about 3 weeks later.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And then
That's
sometimes you go through and you're
terrible.
like, why didn't I reply to you? You're fit.
The other, and I'm thinking, why did I match with you? What the was I thinking?
So my third and final one, I was really racking my brain about what got me to where I am today. And I picked a person. And I
Oh,
picked a school teacher called Mr. Bland. What's up?
oh my God, I thought you were going to say Miss Edge. Maybe this could be our public apology. She's never going to listen to this, but maybe we could just apologize
I'm
for just being
sorry. I am
absolute
sorry.
terrors to her.
Do you know what? This goes into it though, because through school, I struggled to define myself and I really acted up. I was on report. I had 7
You
maths
were on
teachers.
report.
Yeah? Do you not know that?
No, I do not remember this.
Yeah, I had 7 maths teachers in the space of 3 years. I kept being moved.
Oh my God. I do remember though in year 9 when you really kicked off at our science teacher because he had a jar of Nutella and then you were like, I'm allergic to nuts. Like, what are you doing? Are you trying to kill me? And he was like, Rob, I'm not giving you the Nutella. And you were like, it's got traces of nuts. That can kill me. And you literally went absolutely so ballistic and you stormed out of the class.
I'm a drama queen.
Every time I look at Nutella, I just think of that time that you were like, this jar of Nutella can kill me.
It's true. Take allergies seriously, people, especially a science teacher. Girl, it's chemicals. Do you know what I learned? I had this teacher, little side note, teaching me physics, and she was such a difficult human being to be taught by. And she wrote in my yearbook, it was an experience. Missed it. I just lived my life out of the class.
Such a cow.
I just remember you used to hide, you know, when you got sent out and you stand outside. And most of the time, when I got sent out and stood outside, I'd just walk to our head of year and then complain that I was treated unfairly, to be honest.
I remember I got sent out of class one time but the teacher sent me to work in another class and it was like a sixth formers class and it was so embarrassing. I had to sit there in the corner of all these like sixth formers.
That happened to me with Miss Edge.
I will never forget one time we were in like, you know, the classroom that was opposite and it was like a computer room.
Yeah.
I remember we were on the computers and I was like chatting to someone. So she turned around because I wasn't listening. She was like, "Baby, what did I just say?" And I turned around and went, "Baby, what did I just say?" I can't remember if I got sent out for that, but I remember everyone just burst out laughing and even she tried not to laugh. And I was like, I sat there with a really smug face. I think she just wanted to like.
We played games. Like there was a girl, I remember that we would all move the desks forward or the desks back every time she turned around.
Yes!
And there was one girl who crawled out and around and she crawled into the corridor. And then a boy followed the next time. It was like how we all before she
How many
realised.
people could crawl out of the class before she realised? Sorry, we've really got off on a random. You wanted to talk about the teacher that shaped your life.
Yeah, so my high school had 9, 10, 11, and then 12 and 13 was sixth form. So in sixth form, I took media studies, and Mr. Bland was my teacher. Without him, I don't think I would ever have moved to London. I would never have had the confidence to like video edit and do any media stuff at all. He really affirmed my creative side, but also made me want to go and learn and want to go to school and want to do well. And I do think he is the one teacher. I had some good ones, but when I look back, he is definitely the teacher that shaped my confidence and ability to be able to go and pursue creative arts. 100%.
I love that.
And also, I remember the time that I was the lead in a school musical in year 12, and then I was auditioned for the lead in year 13, and I didn't get the role because I didn't look right in a high school show. Yeah, they said you just don't look right for the parts.
What?
Yeah. And
Who was doing the auditioning?
One of the drama teachers, and it was the music teacher who accidentally said that to me, and he was the only teacher who like stood up for me and was like, nah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, that is so terrible.
I mean, in school, you shouldn't say that to pupils. It's not good.
No, not at all. My key memory from middle school is that I remember, because I didn't start middle school in year 5, I started it in year 6. And on my first day in my form class, but I had art, and the art teacher was doing the register. And obviously my name was at the top because B. And she was like, "What's your real name?" And I was like, "BB." And she was like, "No, what is your real name? Like, you can't just be called BB." And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Well, how do you spell it?" And I was like, BIBI. And she's like, "Are you sure that's not short for anything?" And I was like, "No." And this standoff went on for about 5 minutes, and it was so embarrassing. And I was like, "BB Violet Isabella Bagnall, that's my full name. Like, that is my name." She was like, "Is that what's on your birth certificate?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "You got BB on your birth certificate."
Oh my God.
It was so embarrassing. And it's annoying because I always get hit with those questions of like, "Oh, is your name short for anything? Oh, like, why?
But
Like,
what would
what's
it
your
be
real
short
name?"
for?
Apparently Bridget.
I would call Bridge.
Yeah, it really winds me up. But I think it winds me up because I had that encounter where it literally was like a 5-minute standoff with my teacher refusing to teach me, and she found out what was on my birth certificate. But
That's funny though. I reckon some of our teachers were our age.
What?
Some of our teachers at that point were our age.
Yes.
Put that in perspective. Imagine
I could not be a teacher.
a class of 30 of us.
Oh
my
God,
God. I could
no.
never. So I actually feel quite bad. And this is my public apology to every other teacher who I was a nightmare to. I'm very sorry.
I'm deeply sorry. I'm deeply sorry for setting off the fire alarm at school and disrupting all the A-level exams and then lying about it, saying it was an accident. I own up to that. I was acting out. I was just feeling rebellious. My mum had died. I went through a wild phase. I had to process the grief somehow. Don't know why that meant setting off the fire alarm. My dad doesn't know that I set off the fire alarm because I deleted the voicemail on the house phone from Miss Lackenby.
So clever.
Because I remember me and the person I did it with, we were sat in the head teacher's office, and that's when I knew I was in deep, deep, deep shit.
And what did they do to you? Did you have detention or something?
No, because we made up such a good excuse. Because one of the PE teachers saw us, and she was like, "You did it," and I was like, "No, we just knocked it. Like, it was open and we knocked it. It was an accident." Honestly. Right. And then I got home and then listened to the voicemail from Miss Lackenby and was like, delete. So my dad does not know that I did that.
What is your last thing that
life
lessons
your life? From school? Mine's actually really important, right?
Okay.
So I learned this aged 14. I obviously learned a lot when I was 14. You just need to watch what you put on the internet. Like, once you press tweet, publish, send, post, once it's on the internet, it's on the internet, right?
I know where this is going. Yes.
So, take you back to the summer of 2010, I want to say.
We're setting the scene.
I'm having like staycation at my auntie's in Suffolk. I'm in my cousin's like playroom situation. We're like watching TV, advert comes on for the Titanic, and it's like the anniversary, and I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. The Titanic actually was a thing. Like, it's not just a film. Like, it actually happened. My cousin's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I had no idea. I thought it was just a film. 14-year-old BB has Twitter. BB writes on Twitter, I didn't know the Titanic actually happened. I thought it was just a film. Hashtag for me. Terrible use of hashtag. Terrible use of hashtag. Anyway, fast forward a couple of months, sat doing my homework. My little BlackBerry Curve is popping off. And I'm like, what is going on here?
All the BBMs.
BBMs, Facebook notifications galore. Someone's put a screenshot on Facebook of the TV, and that tweet is on Russell Howard's Good News, the iconic TV show. Some BBC researcher found that tweet, decided to do a segment on his show about the Titanic, and used that tweet without my permission, blurred out my name so terribly you could see it said BB Bagnall. But the amount of hate I got for that as well, it was like people were telling me not to have kids. And I was writing back to these trolls. They were like, are you even educated? And I was like, I'm currently doing my GCSEs. Like, I'm not taking history. I'm not good at history, okay? Like, just leave me alone. I had to make a new Twitter account because it just got out of hand.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that for me was like, shit. Once you put something on the internet, it's on the internet. Because there was a time where you would Google my name and that tweet would just be on loads of forums, and it was like 10 people who didn't know the Titanic actually happened. It was like 10 of the most stupidest tweets of all time. And there mine was. Can you imagine Googling stupid Twitter tweets and then yours appears?
I'm going to have to watch that straight after this.
Yeah, my dad thinks it's fantastic. He tells everyone he meets about it.
So there were a few little stories of what got us to where we are today. How about you guys tell us what got you to where you are today? Share it with us via Instagram at the Gal Code Podcast, and we'll be right back.
Stay connected. Follow us on Instagram at the Gal Code Podcast, or at Robert Gartland, or BB_Bagnall. We want to hear from you, and let us know what you want to add into the Gal Code.
So we are back to pitch our rules for the Gal Code, week 4. Our current 3 are: don't hate a flake, hate a fake, it's so cool to love yourself, and protect, don't resurrect. I think this is coming together quite well.
I really enjoy how snappy they are.
They're like a little catchphrasey.
You're really good at making things into a catchphrase.
Do you think?
Yeah, you are, because mine's the long one in that, and then my one this week's a long one as well.
Well, what would be yours this week?
So mine is, don't let them live in your head rent-free.
I like it.
And I just think that just applies for lots of things. Like, when this is going to be the last time I mention this on the pod, but there's this boy, and then every time I think of him, I'm like, BB, why are you letting him live in your head rent-free?
Exactly.
No, stop it. So whenever he comes into my mind, I'm like, no, he's not paying rent. Off he pops.
Off he pops. See you later.
Pops. There's so many situations you could just apply it to. A breakup. When my friend was going through a really bad breakup, I was like, oh my God, stop letting him live in your head rent-free.
Even just a bit of the week.
You're not in his head. Yeah. Exactly.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. I like that one a lot.
What's yours?
Mine this week is: a group photo is for memories. It is not for social media. Now,
not for the grid.
It's not for the grid. No one ever looks good in the same photo as all of their friends. You take group photos for memories, you keep them in your back pocket. It's nice to look back on. But when your one friend posts a photo they look good in and you look like a goblin troll in Shrek, it ain't fair. It ain't cute. Everyone has different filters that makes them look good. Everyone has different effects. Some people face tune their noses off. You can choose to do that. Go for it. Blurrate. But unless you get permission from everyone else in that group and everyone agrees that we all look good in that one photo, don't you dare tag me in that when you post that to your profile, especially if you're going to add some weird filter that is going to make me look like a ghoul. Secondly, group photos are nice. They commemorate memories, special occasions, birthdays. Everyone sat around a table in a restaurant and the waiter who can't take a photo tries. We're like, oh, that's
my
cute.
God, the worst.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Airdrop me a later. I'm like, I maybe will, but I don't want to send you this in case you do anything with it. Group photos are a memory. They are not for publishing. They are not for posting, and they are certainly not for the grid.
Do you know what's so bad? Me and my friends did a drinking game, and one of the questions was like, who's most likely to post a group photo of themselves looking amazing while everyone else looks like shit? My friends voted for me.
I get people to do couple photos. That's their prerogative. I'm a single
Oh
bitch.
God, imagine, that would be lovely.
I'd love to have someone who would happily pose with me. But
Yeah.
I'm talking about like group friend pics. It's like a club picture. No one ever all looks good in a club picture.
Oh my God, is a club picture still a thing?
I used to get them on key rings.
Also, can we stop group photos on dating apps?
Exactly. Put a circle around your face. It's when the group photo is the first one and you're like, ooh, and then you scroll down and it's like, oh.
I can see why.
People should just own who they are. It's like an
Yeah.
advertisement. It's false advertising. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my rule to live by.
Shit, I don't know which one to put in.
I think they're both good.
I think they're both good. Maybe should we leave it undecided and then the people of Instagram, Gal Code Instagram followers, can vote?
Oh my God, audience interaction. What the hell?
Audience interaction.
Oh my God. Let's do it. So
let's bring that in for episode 4. The power is in your hands. Is that what Paddy McGuinness does on Take Me Out?
Head over to our Instagram story at the Gal Code Podcast. You've got 24 hours and let's decide on the 4th rule all together.
The options are: don't let someone live in your head rent-free,
or a group photo is for memories, it is not for social media.
We are going head to head.
Who's going to win? We'll not take it personally, don't worry.
Nah, I won't take it personally because they're strong contenders.
They're good. They're both like, I mean, mine's a bit more like just first world problem-y, but at the same time, I feel passion for it.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than being tagged in a picture where you look disgusting, and you know your friends put it because they look fab.
And apparently, I'm that friend who will do that to someone.
Or have you ever been in a photo where someone's face-tuned themselves, but because they've made you look thinner, your arm's now double the size? That's happened to me.
I've had it when they've like blurred my skin, and I'm like, whoa, that's not what I look like. Like,
what happened?
You think I had that many imperfections? Okay.
Crikey. Yeah, so that is our competition this week. Head over and vote, and we'll be right back.
Okay, so this week I'm shining a light on my friend's Instagram book club account. It's called @thegoodbookclub_, cheeky underscore on the end. And Becky has been reading her way through lockdown, and she shared all of her books that she's been reading, recommendations, honestly, from anything you could ever really want. So if you need some inspiration on what to read, check out The Good Book Club. And that brings us to the end of my Angel episode number 4. Also, referencing the sound quality on this, I just decided to just take myself off back to Newcastle, to be honest. Like, at this point, I think I'm just a yo-yo going back and forth from north to south. So if you think the sound is a little bit dodgy, yep, sorry, I'm dialing in from my EE call centre headset from the north of England via Zoom.
In the words of Nicole Scherzinger, she's a boomerang. Anyway, do you remember that song? I loved that song.
I'm going to have to just go on Spotify and just listen to some of the songs that we've referenced today. And on that note, I think it's time to call it quits on episode 4. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode of The Gal Code. Bye!
See you then. Bye!